Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. Basically, today we are going to discuss a little bit more about the Formula Word, and this is basically 56th number part. In this Formula Word, basically, we are going to talk a little bit more about the investment, basically, that which basically banks do. And bank basically says that we have set of products which is created by the finance industry, and finance industry says that we have created the set of products according to the future plan. Basically, you can say, for example, in IT industry, basically how many people are going to become director, project manager, project developer, sorry, program developer, database developer, according to the salary which they are going, where salary the slab basically according to the post which has decided. So according to this all data, basically we know basically that the people, the professional, here basically we are just talking about the software professional. So like this basically the finance industry knows that this will be the salary structure, this many people are going to get this much salary, this many people are getting this much salary, and this many people are going to join this post, that post, each and every according to the data basically, which here basically data science project came into picture. And basically there are many projects basically which gives this all data basically. So according to this all data basically, we have calculated few set of products basically, you can say, which basically says that this range product, that range product, up to this level range product, up to that level range product. So like this basically, according to the salary slab basically which the employees are getting, for that basically special products are basically created. So basically you can say that for employees the special products are created, for businessmen basically the special products are created. Like this basically for each and every categories, each and every sectors basically, you can say. Here we are just discussing the software industry sector. So according to the software industry salary structure, the each and every sector basically, the according to the post basically, the groups are getting the salary. According to that salary with slab basically, the tax are basically calculated. So according to basically, in short basically, the tax slab also basically are getting calculated, that according to the requirement which is required by the finance industry or the budget industry. Budget industry says that we want this much money from the low, from the salaried people basically. So according to that basically, but this is also one of the possibility, and mostly it's this way only the budget are getting calculated. So budget people says that we want this much salary, this much money from the salaried people basically. So according to that basically, the salary slab has basically decided, and then according to the salary slab basically the set of tax are decided, that this many amount if you are getting the salary, then basically you are going to have to pay this much tax, that tax. And if you are getting this much salary, then you don't have to pay the tax. So basically everything basically is decided by the budget basically, that how many money is required basically, you can say. And few things basically you can connect like this also, that according to the GDP basically, which the World Bank or some other banks basically, or the other finance group basically gives to the India basically, that this is your GDP, and you have to fulfill this GDP. According to that basically, you can collect the money and you can discuss with the businessman, and businessman equal to basically everybody knows that is basically government employees, uh, because India says that we don't trust anyone. So like this basically, it's not basically India basically, it's most of countries. And this basically, this also I have read it somewhere basically. It's not my basically view, that businessmen equal to government employees, because GDP is decided. Then basically GDP, whatever GDP gets, the GDP has to be discussed with the set of finance, in the finance source basically, you can say the finance source basically. Government has the list of data basically, you can say that these all are the sources of the finance. From these areas basically you are going to get this much finance. So each and every finance source basically, you can say. So one of the sources tax basically. So in tax basically employee pay the tax, the government, the businessman pay the tax. There are many people basically who are local business groups, they pay the tax. So basically like this, basically this is the tax structure basically, you can say. So according to the tax structure, they this is the tax amount is one of the source of the um, income basically, you can say, of the, sorry, if the budget money, basically the budget money required, the GDP has to be fulfilled. So for the GDP basically you need the set of money also. So for that basically you, government is will be searching the set of sources. So this is one of the source basically, that is basically you can say tax amount. Then basically business people basically do the investment, but they have to pay the money, that also basically is there. If the any businessman is doing the investment, then basically he's only not going to do the investment, he also needs some return for that basically. Sometime government takes the GST amount, and gives some amount to the businessman, basically businessman group basically, because businessmen are doing the investment, so they need the return also. So that basically depends upon the businessman groups. Like this basically NRI groups invest. Then basically the outside India people, outside India overseas group basically, that are basically according to the relationship with the India country, they do the investment. Then there are many sources basically. The retail sources are there. For example, when product has been launched in the market, and for to purchase that product basically lots of customers are there. So customer basically, in short basically, they also contribute the GDP, because if any product is getting launched, then basically somebody is required to purchase that product, somebody is needed to purchase that product. For that basically set of groups are there. So set of groups are created to do the advertising, and so this is, you can say, so the advertising industries are there, which they basically says that if we are going to do this types of advertising, then 100% basically we are going to get this much sales basically, you can say. So sales is basically part of basically GDP, you can say, because when the sales happen, then only tax amount gets calculated, and then only the tax amount is given by the businessman to the government basically. So like this basically from small retail groups, just to see basically how the tax amount is getting calculated, and then the businessman groups gives the tax. Like this basically there are many source of basically money basically, where so basically government have the list of the each and every source of money, from where basically the government is going to collect the amount, because they have to fulfill the GDP. And according to the GDP, the World Bank says that you have to prepare the basically the data which we have sent it to you in the power, in the form of power data and the energy data. When the according to that basically data which we have passed, according to that basically we have got some data from your side, that is basically output of your country, basically that is output of the India country. And according to that data basically output which World Bank has got from the India environment and India land basically. They told that this many areas basically required some construction work, some creation basically, that can be in technology wise, that can be in construction wise, that can be in human needs wise basically, that can be in any form basically, that can be in health wise you need to do the improvement. So according to that basically the uh, GDP is also calculated, and according to that, basically budget are also calculated. Each and everything basically, World Bank says that this is basically the amount which we have calculated, and we have told that this many amount basically, this all are the basically construction, human needs, health side, each and every sector basically you have to develop, because we have got the output according to the input basically we have given to you. And each and every cities basically comes into GDP basically, you can say, because the power data is getting passed to the government, and the central government passes to the each and every cities. So according to the each and every cities, the creation has happened, and the creation keeps on happening, because if the output is basically passed to the World Bank basically, then Then they say that these all are the data basically which might need to create, and according to that basically set of creation happens. To create basically they have to give the GD, and the World Bank basically says that these all are the these all are the structure basically of the GDP, you can say, where basically you require to create lots of things basically. So that according to that the set of money is required by the banking industry, sorry, the government industry, and then basically government industry decide do the discussion with the many source of income groups basically, that we have already discussed what is the source of income of the government. Then each and everything basically connects with each other, and there are lots of things basically which gets creates on the time of creation of GDP by the Indian government. Basically, you can say there are lots of attributes also gets added while creating the GDP, and there are basically few things. Basically, World Bank also learns from the set of countries. Basically, you can say, because product is created by the World Bank, but the product when gets implement that time basically in practical side basically there are lots of things which gets added also. Like this basically the products basically mostly the products never gets changed, but then also basically sometime few countries products gets changed basically, but mostly this never gets changed because it's a basically huge, you can say, the reconstruction work basically, you can say, because products are connected with the lots of big investment. Each and every country's investment is connected with that, because the balancing of the investment happens. For example, this country has done this much investment, then that country has to do that much investment. Like this basically balancing is also connected with the investment, because total overall money basically the world has, according to that only the countries has got divided. Like this basically there are many stuff basically. For that basically, mm, here basically we are talking about the formula word. So basically in this which we have discussed, this all things basically are going to be calculated in the formula word and the each and every attributes basically. So here basically we are discussing the point that is basically the formula word basically. How formula word of the project management plan, that is PMP, says that these all are the attributes which all are going to help to generate the income of the software industry. So basically these all are the basically, you can say, the source of the income of the software industry. Because if the source of income which is not getting calculated properly, then basically how the software industry will grow, that is also main thing. Because these all are the base basically, you can say, from on the base of this only basically the projects are calculated, the budgets are calculated of the project, and the incomes are getting to the software industry. Like this basically each and every things are connected basically, you can say. So here basically we are stopping here, and it's a 56th number part, and in 57th part basically we are going to see basically a little bit more about the formula word.